That sounds like a pretty big deal for school choice. If President Trump is on board and is talking about the federal government having something in the neighborhood of a $20 billion plan, what do you think about that?
Yeah, it could be a big deal. Well, first, let me be honest, Mitch, that I have mixed feelings about it. And I think many of us that are in the parental choice movement have mixed feelings. We have seen what has happened to other reforms that perhaps were good ideas and somewhat popular, but then got caught up in federal policy and politics. Many of us conservatives, we like parental choice, but we also believe in a limited federal role in education. So is it really a good idea to do this from Washington? I think that's an open question. Likewise, do we want to have parental choice so closely associated with such a polarizing figure as Donald Trump? How long will it be until something like this gets labeled Trump choice? There's some real misgivings. At the same time, $20 billion is a big number, and this could help lots and lots of kids around the country, including in North Carolina. Of course, at this point, it's just an idea. We've yet to see an actual proposal. But when we do see a proposal, we'll have to decide if this is something we're supporting.
So obviously there are some potential pros, some potential cons. If this is done well, what kinds of things might it have?
So what most of us expect is that this might be something that's included as part of the tax reform bill that we expect to see from Republicans this year. That's for a couple of reasons. One is because that tax reform bill is going to use this procedure called reconciliation so that it can pass on a majority vote, which will likely be a party line vote. The second is because a standalone voucher program or private school choice program at the federal level probably would not pass Congress. It would pass the House of Representatives maybe, but it would not pass the Senate because there are some Republican senators who probably wouldn't vote for it. And there almost surely would be no Democratic senators that would vote for it. So, and that's because a lot of these folks represent rural districts, rural states that don't really have any private schools or don't have that many private schools and don't see this as something that's going to benefit them. And even some moderates who say, I'm a little squishy. I'm not sure I'm totally on board with private school choice. If they do it as part of the tax reform bill, then you avoid a lot of those problems. It can be done on a party line vote, and Republicans, if they want to get the tax reform parts of that bill, then they might have to just hold their noses and vote for this part too. All that said, what we expect, if that's the case, is some kind of tax credit for folks who donate to scholarship programs for K-12 kids. In North Carolina, you've already got one of those tax credit programs, an opportunity scholarship program, where people can write off part of their state taxes if they donate to these scholarship programs. And then the scholarship programs turn around and make scholarships or vouchers to low-income kids in North Carolina. If something like this passed, $20 billion, what could happen is that North Carolina's programs could have a lot more money to either serve lots more kids or to make the scholarships more generous. Right now, I think they're in the neighborhood of $4,000, $5,000. That's just not enough money to pay actual tuition at many private schools in North Carolina. So maybe you could get the amount up much more, much closer to what tuition actually is.